Today, I can lift my right foot now again. I can't hold it there forever, but before it was a year ago, impossible. I was always laying down.
Eric, how did you find Carnivore?
I found it through our how can I say this? Our friend Dr. Barry at the end of 2021 around New Year's Eve, and I thought I didn't think he was nuts, no, but I'm like, man, this is different. And I found a segment on lies my doctor told me, and I found it very interesting. And yeah, and then it took me a couple of months to research the stuff, and then I said, "Hey, carnivore, that sounds really like." I had a friend back in 2000 when I worked in insurance in Ontario, and he went on the Atkins diet, and everybody thought he was nuts, but the guy he just shrank, and he was in great shape. But me, I decided to go towards, when you're married, you listen to your wife, and she's like, okay, you need to eat carbs, protein, fat. And I went towards the zone diet, bars, chocolate shakes that tasted like chocolate chalk for 3 years. And it would cost me quite a three, four, five, $600 just in zone products with the bars and stuff. So lost a lot of weight. I had a personal trainer to follow me too, so that really helped. But back to 2021, saw the Dr. Berry thing. 2022, I started the carnivore. Uh, I'd say hyper carnivore, 80-90% was carnivore-ish, which was beef and eggs and bacon. Love the bacon. And I was having coffee. Um, that's where it started. I started March 7th, 2022. And then right after that, I looked at the scale maybe a couple of times a few months after that, but I felt really good. And my aches in my joints, because I have multiple sclerosis, was diagnosed back in 2012 and 2013 or 14. Then they said, okay, you got RRMS, which is relapsing remittent multiple sclerosis. Um, it was so painful. I thought, how your legs, your hip bone, there's a socket. If you look at a skeleton in biology in high school, there was this socket. I felt that this thing was going to pop out. Like I thought at one point, I said, "Oh my God, something's gonna break, so it's gonna pop out." I had that for years. So when I encountered the Dr. Berry thing, and I started the carnivore in March of 2022, it took a few months, and then the pain subsided. It didn't go away completely, but it subsided very much, and it was kind of a relief. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing a good thing. So I continued and pushed along, and yeah, and I would say for my pain to completely go away, it took about, I'd say a year on the carnivore. A year later, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm not hurting at all. And I was in so much pain for so long, for like 10 years. It was I was surprised I didn't break. I didn't think I was surprised I didn't break anything, but it was such a relief. And also brain fog. I've had brain fog since elementary school because in my family we love bread. French Canadian, we love our bread. It was crazy. And I remember uh, when my mom wasn't looking, I put so much butter on it. It was insane. It was swimming in butter. Hot bread with the but yeah, we ate a lot of bread. So which was, you would think, Butter's not good for you. Bread's good. I know I was doing the opposite. I didn't know at the time, obviously. But yeah, it was. We ate a lot of junk. We ate a lot. We had a lot of bread. We loved our chips and watching the Montreal Canadiens play on Saturday night from the TV, eating chips. And we had a little a dépanneur, like a 7-Eleven. I don't know. You know where you get whenever you're missing something, you go there and they're open crazy hours. And they would sell caramel, like caramel chocolate by the pound. We would go there and get caramel, and we would have pop all the time. I remember bringing these 6 packs of big 750 milliliters of pop. My mom would go to the grocery store and she would get of those 6 packs at least 10 or 12 every 2 weeks. And I don't think they would last to the next time she went to the grocery store. So pop, chocolate, just yeah. The bread, oh my God, we would go to this place on a Saturday when they weren't open on Sundays. That was like a while ago, and we'd go there at 4:45. I remember it was the convenience store was the kind of the grocery store, and my dad, my brother, and I we each had a basket, and we knew at a 10 to 5 or 5 to 5, everything was less than half price. We would pile up. Oh, yes, we had full, full, full. I remember the car at the time. Opened the trunk. There was nothing in the trunk. All bread, boof. And we would be good for a few months. So the guy come at home, then we put in the massive freezer that we had. But yeah, bread all the time.
So just thinking about the going to the MS first, like, when you talked about pain,
Mm.
like you mentioned the socket and I think your knee, but like, where was the pain? Was it like all over? What can you kind of paint a picture of maybe what it was like then versus what it's like now?
It would be mostly joint pain, uh, muscle pain also. Not really cramps. I remember having a cramp in my calf on my right leg for 2 years. 2 years. It was stuck. I didn't know the carnivore then, but I remember that for 2 years. But besides that, the that was for the 10 years for sure. It was the hips. It was horrendous. Um, Lower back pain all the time because I had to, like yourself. When you had your stroke, you had problems with your right leg, so you felt like you were dragging it. I felt I was compensating on my left side for my right, and my lower back. It felt like I had oh, what's that nerve that you have in your back? You got one on each side. Sciatic. Yeah, a sciatic. It was not fun. When I would, and I'm not someone that likes medication at all. Uh, when they offer you something, they say, "Oh, we'll give you something for your MS." It was Rebiff. And at the time, I didn't have any insurance, wasn't working or anything. And they said, "Oh, it's I don't know." It was like it's just in Canadian money there, but it was still like around $3,000 a month. And I was like, I didn't want any medication anyways. Oh yeah, well Canadian, so that's like well, I don't know, 2,400 US. But I didn't want any, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's my way out of. No, I can't. I don't have insurance. Oh boy, took 24 hours. Ding. Oh, Ontario, they have this program. Yeah, okay, we'll give you the medication. We booked you the pharmacy near your house. I was like, oh my God, what am I dealing with here? Mafia or something? It was, it, I don't know, it scared me, you know? And then they say, okay, when you do the rebiff, uh, you need to take a T3 every other day. I would have to put on my leg. and then I would have to take a T3 for the, I don't know, the effect must be, it must be very strong. So you do that before bed. You take your Tylenol 3 or the equivalent, and then you go and you sleep. And I was like, and I asked them, okay, just went along with them a little bit. Does it help? Does it help you at all? Is it going to help me? Oh, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's like,
That's always interesting for me when, when someone's trying to sell a drug to you and it's like, you need to take this for your condition. Or what's it going to fix? Is it going to correct anything? Oh, well, I don't know. Um, so just to clarify, so I thought in Canada, like there was a kind of a universal health care as far as
yeah, yeah, yeah.
medications. Like,
Oh,
so
medication.
why were you required to pay 3,000 a month?
Medic drugs are not covered in Canada. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes,
It's
sorry. Yeah, sorry. My friend did tell me that. So like I'm comparing Canada with Australia. So we've got the same kind of medical, but we've also got like a pharmaceutical benefits scheme. But I
okay.
guess that one doesn't apply in Canada. Um, so, but when you couldn't afford it, they were still like, oh, we'll give it to you free then.
Yeah, Dave, something just came out of nowhere, and oh, there's a program for this. Come on, you know. I was like, uh-huh. But no, I was still not interested. That doctor, it's funny. I'm just gonna go back a little bit here, but remember when I had that cramp in my my right calf? Okay, for 2 years, and I would go see her every 6 months or something to do all kinds of tests. And I told her, I says, I have a cramp in my. Oh yeah, I'll give you a prescription for. I'm like, okay. 2 years. I had to go see a physiotherapist, and she felt bad for me, and she put those little, the little thing with a battery there, and they put and little shocks in your legs or whatever.
It's like a stimulation through electricity. Yeah.
And then it just relaxed. But her, I'd call her. Oh boy, she's in London, Ontario, where the bug factory is. That's where they process all these bugs to make you some delicious food, supposedly. But I'd call her she had a leather jacket or something. I won't give her a name here, but she was so busy going to different conferences. So I never got my prescription. So that's why I went to see this person, the physiotherapist, one session, and she helped me. But yeah, I found that uh, interesting to say the least.
So, um, if you, what is a day in your life like now, sort of on carnivore, as opposed to a day in your life, say, I don't know, in 2014, 2015?
Oh boy, 20, I couldn't work at all. So when I was diagnosed in 2012, um, before I was diagnosed, I quit my job that I was at that time there. Then I relaunched my business again. I was a contractor. I went from insurance to general contractor, and then I worked for a company that I was there when my health really went down because it was so stressful. And stress and MS, they don't agree very well. So I, uh, I left and then relaunched my business, and I would do what I can. I was kind of dragging myself, but the thing with a general contractor, you get a lot of subcontractors, and they would do mostly the work. I would do what I could do. So you show up, you explain the work, blah 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 blah, and then I would take off and relax. But I couldn't do much. So in 2013, 2013, I learned how to trade stocks. and then I went and traded myself, like trading options on the stock market. And that's what I did for quite a few years until 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020 and the bug. So then I just tried to relax and take it easy, and now since I'm feeling much better, a year later at least, I would like to go back to work, and I'd like to go back in IT. That's what I used to do when I was when my friend there that did the Atkins diet. That's where I was at Sun Life, Clarica Sun Life, and I really love that job. But I think it's something I would like to go towards. It's something I could do and work remotely. And I think and you're a trainer yourself, an IT trainer. So
Do you have the feeling like it's a situation where you're now doing carnivore, but if you were to change your diet now and go back to a regular kind of diet, the cereals, the breads, and
no,
that would just bring the symptoms back?
I I think so. I think I don't want to try it, but I'm quite sure. When I tried the bread a few times lately, and I was like, oh yeah, it tastes good, and I kind of missed it, and I'm like, no, 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 not good at all. So no, I would never, ever, ever go back to this stuff.
Okay. And so what is a day of eating like for you? I mean, you told me before we started that you were fasting at the moment, but on a regular day, how would you be eating and how many meals?
I just eating one meal. I have a 2 to 4 hour window. I got my big frying pan, and I do my ground beef. I do my 2 pounds of ground beef, and then I have eggs in a little skillet. Then I fry my eggs. I have 4 eggs every day, and I have my 2 pounds of ground beef. And oh god, do we have to talk about food and fasting right now?
How long has the fast been that you're currently on? Like how long are you planning to fast for?
I'm doing the Dr. Kilt's fasting. I started last weekend, and now is my second weekend. I do it from Friday. I finish at whatever time, and then not until the Monday. So that gives me 72 hours. And I heard that 72 hours is just okay. More than that, then your body starts taking proteins or resources from your muscles that could affect the muscles a little bit. So I said, hey, no, I don't want to touch the muscles. I'm just gonna do the what natural resources I have besides the what I have in the muscles.
Okay, so you've only got a few hours to go, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we're talking now. So it's Monday for me here. So it's still Sunday evening for you, right?
Yes. So if I look at the time, it's 6:20. In less than 11 hours. Yes.
So regarding the fast, I mean, I've done a 48-hour fast before, and for me, around hour 36 is when I started to feel really good. I think I'd
Yes.
probably struggle to do 72 hours, but like, at what point did you start to feel like, okay, I'm getting hungry now?
Last weekend I did it, and I was kind of surprised because I felt like I had to kind of like force the food in my mouth. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna eat a little bit. I'm gonna wait a few minutes, and then whoop, it started to go in, no problem. But yeah, like I see Carrie Man, is it Carrie Man from Homestead How or whatever? I saw he did a 7 or 8 day fast. I'm not I wouldn't do that. But I wonder how it was when he started again and when he broke his fast, eh? That's what they mean by breaking your fast. So it's I don't know. I love it, Dave. My right leg hasn't moved in years. I couldn't, like, again, my hips were hurting so much. It took a while to get my. Now it's moving. Thanks to YouTube, there's quite a few good physiotherapists out there that are kind enough to share their information. And today, I can lift my right foot now. Again, I can't hold it there forever, but before it was a year ago, impossible. I was always laying down, impossible. And now it's like, and sometimes I forget I have a cane to walk around. And today I'm like, oh, crapola, I forgot my cane. I turn around, go get it, just in case.
That's definitely a good sign that you're misplacing the cane, right? It's because if you're not thinking about it, then your body is just going, well, I don't need it, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you mentioned your wife before, and you mentioned being a good husband and eating all the carbs and stuff. Like, how does your wife feel about this way of eating and the difference she's seen in you?
No, that was an ex-wife in 2000. That was an ex-wife, my ex-wife. But my girlfriend, when I started the carnivore, she, I don't know. She just felt she didn't think I was crazy. She just felt like because she's an awesome cook. She prepares and she's a Christmas person. So Christmas treats was like she would. I don't know how she did it, man. I thought she was like an octopus. She would get treats within a few hours. She would do stuff that would take me a week. You know, she was that agile. But she felt a little bit like, oh, okay, I can't do anything for you anymore. She felt left aside, I guess. But no, she wasn't. It's crazy. Uh, Other people, I was in New Brunswick at the time, and other people would be like from New Brunswick. There are older folks there too. Sweet as pie. They wouldn't laugh at me, but they were like, "Oh, okay, that's different." But they wouldn't. They didn't inquire into it more. Like they'd like to try it or something. And no, it wasn't. But when I'm visiting my cousin in Quebec, they think I have three heads. You know, they're like, "What are you doing?" But no one said, "What about cholesterol?" Nobody bugged me on that one.
Mm. But and I mean, they might think you got three heads because of the way you're eating. But how do they feel about the health improvements? Has anyone talked about that?
Yeah, they're surprised. They're like, "Wow, this is good." I haven't visited many times here in my hometown in Montreal, but they knew about my condition, and then I explained to them the transition and stuff. So they're quite surprised. My mom's quite surprised too. So
This is it for you. It's just carnivore all the way now.
oh yeah, oh yeah. If I could buy a T-shirt, I would buy one.
So I mean, this is pretty a pretty big thing. I feel like I've spoken to three people in the last month and a half now, yourself included, who have improved um, or completely mitigated their MS symptoms just by changing the way they eat. There's got to be something to this, right?
Definitely, definitely. My grandmother, my mom's mother, she died of MS in mid to late 70s. She was 55, my age, and my age now. And she was in bed for years, and she just died. And she was in the hospital all this time. She was such in a uh, how can I say in a bad situation. The hospital people were very nice, but her leg was folded or crossed or whatever, And at one point, they wanted to move her. They're like, "Oh, you're having bed pleats. We gotta fix everything." And trying to move her, uh, the leg would not unfold. They broke it, and she didn't feel a thing, but they broke her leg.
Uh, What she didn't feel a thing. Is that because the MS had got so bad, or was that because of some drugs they were giving her?
No, the MS was so bad. Yeah, exactly.
That's yeah. It's scary that it can progress to this point.
Oh yeah, it was sad. I was too young when this happened. I don't know, 8 or 9, 9 years old. But yeah, my mom told me, she was like, "Oh my god, it was crazy."
So, if you were talking to someone who has just received an MS diagnosis, or has even been suffering with MS for a number of years and is taking medication, what would you recommend to them? Obviously, neither of us are doctors, but um, what uh, what steps would you think would be worth testing out?
I wouldn't say keto in my case. Vegetables. They don't agree with me. I would say carnivore meat. Uh, like Vinny Tortorich. What does he say? No sugar, no grain. So cut the sugar, cut all the grains, and you don't need vegetables. You know, everything's in the meat. And if you say, "Oh, I need a little bit more vitamins," have beef liver or cod liver. A little bit here and there. You don't need more than a couple, maybe 3 or 4 ounces a week max. And but everybody wants something sweet. Everybody wants to. I'm worth it. I deserve it. I worked hard. Blah blah blah. If you can take it, hey, good for you, man. I'm happy for you. Me, no, no, no,
Hmm.
no. It's over.
Thing is, I'm worth it. I deserve it. Yeah, you could look at it like that way for something sweet, but you can also turn that around and say, I'm worth it. I deserve it. I don't need to poison myself.
Yep, that's very good. Or like Dr. Chafee would say, sugar is like cocaine, because sugar is at least 4 to 5 times more addictive than cocaine. Sugar. We give this to our kids. You know. Oh, I love you. It's Easter. Have some sugar. Oh, but the grandmothers and stuff. It's like, oh my God, they didn't know, obviously, but it's like, oh, a little bit of cocaine is okay. No.
Yeah, and when you think about the addictive properties, it's astounding they're putting it into all our foods. Why would they be doing this? It's not like they want us to be addicted to their processed foods, is it? Um,
Hmm.
so, so, do you have a YouTube or an Instagram or anything if people want to reach out to you, Eric?
No, I don't have anything. I didn't think it was because you guys do such a great job of interviewing people. I didn't feel the need to push stuff out there. I only have my Facebook, which is my name, and that's it. So without the little accent on the e there, and but
Yeah. No, no worries. Well, thank you very much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. I'm really happy to hear you're doing so well, and yeah, it's really great having you on.
well, thank you for having me, Dave.